Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We welcome you, whatever time and wherever in the world you are listening. We are pleased you have found us. You are now listening to Inside the Bunghole, a podcast taking you on a journey through wine. Together, we will learn more about this wonderful elixir of life. So raise your glass to welcome your hosts and partners in wine, Pam and James. You are now inside the Bunghole.
Hello. Thank you for joining us, everybody, for our episode 0 of Inside the Bunghole.
Are you going to introduce yourself?
My name is Pam.
Yes. And I am James.
And we're joined today with our producer. This is our very first show, and we want to kick it off with a team.
Yes.
So our producer, Mr. Don Maselli.
Don, how are you?
I'm well, James. Thank you. How are you today?
I am swell. And this is podcast 0, right?
That is correct.
This is 0. And we're going to get into a bunch of stories. But Don is here because we all got together. Pam and I, we've been in business for years and years. And we met up with Don. And we're going to share that story later on. And how he got us. We were into wine, Pam and I. But we weren't.
We were into the big bottles.
No, yeah, we were the grocery store ones with the hook on it, for your finger to pour. The jugs. We were at the jug level. I think we might have got into $2 chuck.
Oh yeah, that was our big step forward.
Yes, and then we met with Don, and you're going to hear about that. And Don's here because in the wings, as we do this show and meet people, he's going to be like behind the curtain, telling us. And helping us and guiding us and mentoring us. So we thought it would be a smart move to put Don in the show with us. So, but we're all sitting here right now, drinking wine. That's the beauty of this thing. And we all love wine. We get it. We get it, people. We get it. Wherever you are, we get it.
We also know that it can be, if you're with the wrong people, very intimidating. And we're trying to bring it down to the common folk, because that's what we are.
Yep. Don, you grew up in Ohio. Was there a lot of wine out there?
James, there was not a lot of wine in Ohio, but wine, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of the production, I believe Ohio is like the 7th or 8th largest wine-producing state in the United States.
See, there you go. I stand corrected.
My grandparents, great-grandparents rather, came over and they landed in Ellis Island like a lot of us did when we first came from the old country. And my great-grandfather actually sold grapes to the locals in New York.
Get out.
That's how he made his money. He was a mercantile trader in Bari, Italy, and sold
new things.
We are.
And he was fluent in 9 languages. So for him to be
Come
planted,
on now.
Yes.
Wow.
So for him to be planted in New York City, back in the late 1800s, and to be able to...
Hopefully one of them was English.
Yes, it was. He was able to actually do very well for himself.
Yeah.
Funny enough, my parents never drank, but the ancestries did.
Did the food, because you worked in the food and beverage industry, did that get you into wine?
It actually did. Yes. And I'm a firm believer that a good meal is complemented by a great glass of wine.
Yes.
Glass.
Well,
Yeah.
case. Is that better?
Yes.
Case of wine. God. Well, we're so blessed right now. Wherever you are listening to us, we're in California. We're out of basically the Palm Springs area, and we can jump in our car and go up a little north towards Santa Barbara, even towards Temecula. There's some wonderful wineries, and then we could even drive out towards past San Francisco. So we're really, really lucky. We have a gold mine where we're at, an advantage.
And James, speaking of Santa Barbara, I see that you've got a beautiful bottle in front of you. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
I'm drinking today. I am drinking a wonderful wine from Stoltman. And this bottle, first of all, the label is amazing. The label is amazing. It's called La Quadrilla. Perfect. And thank you.
He nailed it.
La Quadrilla. And that's the crew or the gang. And what's really neat about this winery is Stoltman is they do with this particular wine that I'm drinking right now. They have a sharing program where they have the actual farmers that work in the grapes and picking the grapes. They get them involved with the process. So when they kick off work and they're done, they're not just gonna run and grab a Budweiser. They actually might, sip on a thing. They know their product.
They get educated.
It was very
educated.
And it was very smart of the owner. I think years ago he got him into that, and that was Tom. And I've never met him, but I know, Don, you met his son.
Yeah, Petey Stoltman's an amazing man. As a matter of fact, Pete, if you're listening, I have your ball cap on that you sold me many years ago, and I wear it with pride.
Yes, yeah.
It's a great, great wine, and the concept behind it is beautiful.
Right, and what I'm drinking right now, it's 70% Shiraz, it's 15% Grenache, and it's 15% Sangiovese. And the bottle, I love the bottle. What they do about 10 years ago, the gang, when they make this one particular wine every year.
With their little plot of land.
They do a black and white label. And I think at one time, Tom Stoltman was on the label in a mariachi hat, things like that. And on this bottle that I'm drinking, it's a 2000, let me take a look at it here, hold on, 2018. And on that bottle, I have Ruben
Solorzano.
And he's like the main jefe. He's the boss man out there. I
thought he was in the accounting department.
No. He's a farmer and knows his wines and the whole process. And so really cool. And what they did is they put a lot of tattoos and things like that on him, and he doesn't have that at all.
And actually a really beautiful ink drawing.
Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah, but it's a wonderful
personality.
This wine right now, I'm tasting notes of like blueberry. It's a medium body wine.
I hope you don't expect me to say fruit and stuff, because I'm not going to know it.
No, but it's just, boy, is it yummy. Yummy.
Oh, by the way, now that we have our expert with us,
yes,
is it Shiraz or Syrah? Or do you know?
I believe Syrah is what we would call it here in the United States. The Australian equivalent would be Shiraz.
With a Z on the end.
Que Syrah, whatever may be.
Now, I was lucky enough, I haven't been to their vineyard. Their vineyard is in Santa Barbara County. It's in Solvang. But I've been to their tasting room.
In Los Olivos.
In Los Olivos, yes. And it's neat seeing the dogs walking around.
Dog friendly, very dog friendly.
Yep. But anyway, terrific wine. Great program to, the 10% going back to employees. Also to educate them to know what we're making. We are making wine. You're not just picking grapes and going home, and they're involved in the process. So I love this wine.
Cheers to Stoltman.
Thank you.
They do a damn good job.
Wonderful. Thank you. Yes. And the other thing is, this is the kind of thing that excites me about drinking wine. Is I didn't know this before. When we were doing the 2 buck chucks and things like that, which is a great baby steps. But once you start kind of climbing up a little bit, you start learning about
there's stories behind it.
Absolutely. And that's what's exciting you if you're listening. I know you know that. And I hope you're blessed like us and you can get wine and you're close to it. For us, we're spoiled.
And I'm sitting here looking at the 3 wines because we each chose a wine to bring on with us. And each one of them has a story with us, with our group, with our friendship and meaning and history. And that's what I think that's what it's all about. That's what really draws me to wine, is the memories that it creates.
Yeah, and if I go back to Stoltman, Ruben, he's the vineyard manager.
Oh, there you go.
That's it, vineyard manager.
He ain't the accountant.
Well, Pam, can you tell me what you're drinking?
Okay, I'm drinking a beautiful, it's Bloodroot Pinot Noir 2018. First year that they ever did it, because the couple that makes it is actually...
I'm glad you have notes.
I
Very
do.
good.
Noah and Kelly Dorrance of Reeve Wines, and they decided to do this Bloodroot as a collaboration with some very, very good wine growers. And as your wine is broken down by percentage of Sangiovese grapes and this, that,
Yep.
mine's broken down by percentage of areas. So appellations, what do you call that? Appellations? Mm-hmm. We've got 46% Russian River. We got 28% Sonoma Coast.
Oh, so it's not saying the grape.
It's not. It's Pinot Noir, but it's from
it's
so
a
it's
Pinot
the
from
Pinot
there, a
Noir
Pinot.
and a Pinot. Marin, Anderson, Bennett Valley. So I think that's interesting. That wines. First of all, you'll never know wine ever. I don't care how good of a sommelier you are. You have to know the most bizarre aromas and tastes and history and geography. It's incomprehensible.
Yeah, and the French, who started this, they didn't even name it by the grape. They pretty much by the region.
The region.
So it's tough. It's tough and we're going to learn all that, and we are learning.
We're going to try to,
and that's what this podcast is going to be about. Tell me a little bit more about.
Okay, so a little bit more about Bloodroot.
It's good. It's
12 vineyards were involved. The grapes from 12 different vineyards were made here. It is from Sonoma County. They have a tasting room in Healdsburg. Healdsburg.
Where's Healdsburg?
It's right outside of Sonoma. And here's a weird thing.
Yeah.
Fermented in small open top vessels, and they get a beaten daily.
They get beaten?
Hand punched daily.
Wow. Hand punched.
Do you know anything about
in
that?
an open vessel?
I've never heard this in my life.
Wow.
And they have the other thing I want to say is they have a 2019 Pinot Rosé of Pinot, which I'm dying to try.
Yeah. Well, they would be a great guest to talk to. And Stoltman, same thing. That would be wonderful. And can I have some of your
I guess
Bloodroot? Can you pour a little splash in there for me?
Okay.
Oh.
Ooh, that sounds good too.
That sounds good.
That looks delicious.
I'll give you more later, but that was just for sound effects.
and I noticed, Don, you were having a Boddington, a beer from Manchester. No. What are you having, Mr. Maselli?
Because this is our Zero podcast, I thought I would start big. So, go big or go home, right, James? And
yes.
So I decided to do the 2017 Rhone blend, and this is an estate-grown Santa Ynez Valley, California, brick barn, and it is a strikingly beautiful synergy between Grenache, 50%, and Syrah, 50%.
Like mine.
And the winemaker, Adrian Bolshoi, I believe he is from, help me, you were with me, Moldova?
I know
Faux pas.
he just took over, and he
is from a formerly Eastern Bloc country.
A young man.
Saying.
His personality is as big as the beautiful wines that he's now producing. Doing a great job of just these great blends.
Seems very excited to do it.
Yes.
Is this his?
I believe that this is his. Yes, this is his.
2017?
This is his classic Southern Rhone style blend. With beautiful fruit characters, very complex, elegant. And quite honestly, I would open this up and just drink it by itself, or I would even go as far as pairing this with some lamb chops with rosemary, or even something as basic as a burger with some sweet potato fries. Super elegant, very delicious. And Brick Barn, I stumbled across when I lived in Santa Barbara for just a little bit. Fell in love with this beautiful, beautiful tasting room. It was an old horse stable turned into this gorgeous winery, beautiful wedding venue as well. Outdoor seating, VIP room for wine member guests.
Yep.
And
Something about race cars too. There's a race car connection.
Yes, the owners, I believe that he was in, is it Maseratis or Porsches or
something.
they've since removed that due to the whole COVID pandemic, but now they've opened that up to do wine dinners and some other very fun and interesting and unique events. But if you are in Santa Barbara, or Santa Ynez rather, Brick Barn is absolutely a must stop. It is a beautiful, elegant winery, and they spared no expense in creating it. But
they have fun events too.
They do. But most importantly, the wines are just top notch. James, I think you have a few from Brick Barn, don't you?
Well, just this Thanksgiving, I had their V&A for my turkey, and it was divine.
There you go.
It was yummy. God, is it yummy.
Now,
this is a weird note, I would say, and just bizarre, but it's so darn good. It kind of, you know those candies you put in the thing and you tilt? Pez. There's something about a Pez.
Okay, that's not a really positive thing to say, but
it is so good. I
suppose it's very nostalgic.
I'm attracted to that V&A. It's so good when I go there. And Don, I hope we get them on as a guest.
I think we will.
Let me ask you something also about Viognier versus Pinot Noir with the turkey. I think they both work, yes? White, red. If you're white, you're going to go with a heavier white, Viognier, right? And then Pinot Noir, a lighter red.
I would be drinking my Brick Barn Rhone if I had to go back and repeat history, because this wine would just pair so beautifully with the turkey. I like to do my turkey a lot with rosemary and sage, and the more heavier spices. Throw a little bit of fennel in the cavity to give it a little bit more herbaceousness. But that's just the way my style of cooking.
Isn't that some fancy smack?
I was going to say, so you put fennel in your turkey?
Instead of putting stuffing in the cavity, fennel,
Skittles?
onion, garlic, Skittles,
and Red Hots.
Pez. Oh, Pez.
Pez. Well, Don has the wine.
Yes.
Wine going down. You know what? And we'll talk. Like I said, I'm learning, I'm growing, and inside the bunghole, and we'll get into that because we're going to take a little break here shortly. But we're going to talk about, for example, the name of our podcast is Inside the Bunghole, kind of like Schitt's Creek. There is a pun to it. And speaking of pun,
it's punny.
And that's pun in the back of the bottle. Isn't that a pun?
That's a punt.
A punt. Oh, see, I'm learning. Gosh, I'm learning.
Rhymes with a lot of bad things.
Okay, so we're gonna get back. We're gonna get back with what's in the name of our show, Inside the Bunghole, and we're also gonna talk about how we all hooked up with Mr. Don Maselli, our producer. So stick around, and we'll be right back. And thanks for joining us
on our first episode,
Inside the Bunghole. We'll be right back.
If you want to know more about Inside the Bunghole, join us on all our social media platforms. You can get a revisit and view all the latest posts, giveaways, and information on this podcast. Simply search Inside the Bunghole on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment. We would love to hear from you. Or you can email us at insidethebunghole@gmail.com. Thanks for tuning in, and visit our website at insidethebunghole.buzzsprout.com, where you can always find our latest podcast and past episodes. Cheers!
Well, we are back. Thanks for joining us Inside the Bunghole. I'm your host, James Salisbury, and I'm joined with
Pam Hudgens.
And we have with us today our producer, Don Maselli. And right before we went on a break, we were talking about the name of the show, Inside the Bunghole. And when we did go on a break, Don poured me some of his Brick Barn, and it's fantastic. And that's what I'm having right now. What's the notes on that, Don? What do you think of that? What are you tasting?
Oh God! First of all, when you just sniff the wine and I know this doesn't sound great, but The alcohol, there's a little bit of a burn going up your nose, and it's...
What do you have?
God, it's just fun. I'm still drinking my blood root.
Oh.
Which, by the way, really quickly, they made this. I think the parent company or the mama bear is Reeves. But they made this to be very budget friendly. And it's a great, great wine. And it's easy on the pocketbook. Not that easy, but it's easy enough. It's worth it. Every penny.
Yeah, but I'm getting nice, a little tobacco-y, and a little, hold on. Getting grapes? No, I'm getting, kind of like a raspberry-ish. I don't know if it's on the
What are you
the
drinking?
list, but it's so good.
Well, the
That's
two of
the
you
Brick
seem
Bar.
to be wine enthusiasts. It seems like the more wine you drink, the more enthusiastic you become.
Yes,
Oh, that's cute.
that's good.
So I just...
Don's always quick with the joke, people.
Yes.
Well, now that I have the microphone, I'm just going to throw it out there.
Yes.
What did the grape say when the elephant stepped on it?
Let me see.
Nothing. It just let out a little wine.
We gotta put a boom, boom.
Yeah,
I like that
I
idea.
say the silence is golden.
Yeah.
Silence says it all.
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk about what's in a name. So inside the bunghole, of course, it has its connotations, and it's kind of funny and irreverent. Irreverent, is that the word?
Yeah.
Okay. And we know from just our very limited experience what a bunghole is. And probably most of you that tune into this will know what a bunghole is.
But if you don't,
like
me, at one time,
Don, would you like to take it away?
I would love to. So the bunghole was...
do you want me to take my pants off? You can explain. No, go ahead.
I want to talk about how the word bunghole became rather popular. And I want to actually thank the ingenuity of Mr. Mike Judge, who was a brilliant comedic creator of the 1990s MTV show Beavis and Butthead. His misuse of the word made this pretty gosh darn funny.
Bungholio.
And we decided that the bunghole, although it has many terms, when it refers to wine, is the little opening in a wine barrel where the winemaker will place all of the liquid to ferment and finish the final product.
What does he stick in his bunghole usually?
He normally sticks a long glass rod called the thief. So it's almost like robbery of the bunghole when you extract the wine back out to taste it.
Is it really called a thief?
It is
It
called
is.
a thief, yeah.
The
Yes.
thief.
It looks like a turkey baster.
Yes.
It does, a very long turkey baster.
And it's called a thief.
A thief,
See, I
yeah.
learned that
You
right
have
now.
a thief in your bunghole.
Oh my god.
And so they're robbing all the wrong things.
Yeah.
Anyways,
See, it's just fun saying it. The
Bunghole.
thief in the bunghole.
Thief in the bunghole, like a thief in the night.
yeah, thief in the night.
So I guess they put the thief in there and sample, and
Sample daily, sometimes hourly, depending on the fermentation process, depending on the grape.
wow.
The temperatures. There's so many different things that
You can do with a bunghole.
you can do with a bunghole.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, I know that some bungholes
Are bigger than others?
are bigger than others, but I know that drinking Chardonnays, there's steel
Casks.
cask aging, it doesn't have that oak, some are very oaky, so that's exciting
French
too.
oak, new oak.
New oak.
We're gonna go there.
How long you can do a barrel?
We're gonna
How many
go there.
times can you rescore and use a barrel until it's done? And then there's some people I know. I would love to interview this one gentleman, and he's in the wine ghetto out there in Lompoc, and he takes a steel barrel, smokes oak boards, and throws it. So he tries to creatively create that what he has, and that's what we're going to meet and talk to on this show. Some very thrifty and yet smart farmers, and that's another thing. for example, on Brick Barn or Bloodroot or the wine that I'm drinking from
La Quadrilla.
La Quadrilla from Stoltman, they are /farmers /scientists. You know, it almost if you had a reality show and you gave everyone the same batch of grapes and have them go off and make that one wine and come back, you know, a year later to
Are they all going to be different? It's like
yeah, they're going to be different.
It's like Chopped for wine, but you can't really spread an episode out over 30 months.
Right.
10 years.
Yeah.
And that's not fair.
So, anyway, so
Be very slow production.
Inside the Bunghole, and that's where we name. And by the way, I'd like to say this right now. If any of you are listening to us all around the world, you can get a hold and contact us because we are on social media, like you heard on that last commercial break. But you can get a hold of us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter by simply searching Inside the Bunghole.
Search Inside the Bunghole.
And you'll see some of the things like today. We're going to post some of the wines. You'll see what Don Maselli looks like.
Some production photos behind the scenes.
Yeah.
What our glamorous studio
Yes.
looks like.
This is before the stomp, right?
Yes.
That's what's happening.
Before the stomp.
But it's funny because I think that we all love wine, but we take a very lighthearted approach, even though when it comes time to discussing a bottle of wine, I've never seen two more creative people express almost like you're the winemaker, putting yourselves in their shoes and say, I'm smelling lychee, I'm smelling, you know...
We just know big words.
I'm smelling cat urine for a Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how the two of you have really evolved since our tasting that we had at the Third Corner Bistro.
Thank you, teacher.
Over 10 years ago.
Yes.
Should we go into the story?
I think we should.
I think we just need to keep this rated G for the first
Well,
Zero podcast.
I think we should. You know what? Let's just roll out to a quick break, and we're going to tell you
How we met.
We all met. Hey, chin chin, everyone.
Cheers.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh, that was loud.
We'll be right back.
If you want to know more about Inside the Bunghole, join us on all our social media platforms. You can get a revisit and view all the latest posts, giveaways, and information on this podcast. Simply search Inside the Bunghole on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment. We would love to hear from you. Or you can email us at insidethebunghole@gmail.com. Thanks for tuning in, and visit our website at insidethebunghole.buzzsprout.com, where you can always find our latest podcast and past episodes. Cheers!
I moved down here, and a friend of mine who we're going to be interviewing, and believe it or not, she works out of a couple of wineries in Texas, which we're really excited that we're going to be announcing in the next couple of weeks, said to me, oh my gosh, you have to go to this wonderful, wonderful place called Third Corner Bistro. James, wasn't I wearing a leather jacket when I met you? And
No.
Oh, I thought the winemaker said this tastes like leather, and the two of you kind of looked quizzically at each other and said, what does that taste like? And I thought I had on a leather jacket, and you came over to lick me, and I think that's where our friendship began.
Oh, no. You
Close.
No.
Close.
Pastels.
So
Pastels.
we were at the little wine tasting, and Pam and I were there just doing our thing, and we kept going up to
Which
line,
was drinking.
having them do a little pour. Please, sir. And this winery was from Willamette Valley. I think it was, where Sacagawea and Lewis and Clark were doing the expedition and all that stuff. And the guy was giving a little history and also talking about the wine. And I kept coming back to the table. I'm going, Pam, there's these two little birds up at the front, and they have these sweaters. They look like Lifesaver, candies. They have like pink sweaters.
See, I'm thinking like Easter robin's eggs.
Yeah, they looked like, with
Malted
the collar was up on the polo shirt with the sweater.
Very trade
and they were always ahead of us. So I slowly, as we went up in line to get our little
tasting.
I would just say, "Oh wow, Willamette Valley. Oh, interesting. Lewis and Clark." They would say that, and I would go, "You know what's so weird about that?" And this is what I was just throwing in their ear, where Don was sitting, and I would say, "You know, that's kind of like, well, you're not going to read that in the history book, but Lewis and Clark, technically, were like the Brokeback Mountain. They got into the canoe and kept each other warm." Anyway, I took my tasting and I went back to my table, and I knew that they got an earshot. And then
we're all about listening to other people's conversations and having them listen to ours.
And Pam's like, "What happened?" I said, "Oh, I just said Mac Lewis and Clark were humping in a canoe. It's brilliant." And when we would just wait till Don and his partner got up to line to get their next tasting, and then we would run to get ours.
We would get behind them.
And we would continue our story. Yeah, you're not going to read that in the history book. Turns out that when Sacagawea wouldn't put out, Lewis and Clark, two horny guys on the trail, would, so I would just keep giving this history that you're not going to read in the history book. So finally...
after about 2 or 3 tastings?
7.
Yeah,
no,
tasting.
that wasn't that.
Don came up
wasn't that great of a
to
tasting.
our table. His partner was at his table, but he came over to our camp. And there we were, me, Pam, Sacagawea. No, me and Pam were sitting there, and he goes, "Who are you people?" Don was working for a hotel out here, and it turns out upper management. And Pam's husband was up management, not as up as Don, and in the golf end of things.
But very well respected. And Don could not accept the fact that me being maybe a little less, what is the adjective I'm looking for? Maybe a little less
Classy.
classy.
Respectful.
I guess classy
Dignity.
is the hard word for it. Than my husband, that he couldn't accept the fact that he was indeed my husband, which he was.
Right. And I think when he came home...
When I went home and told my husband, "Oh, I just partied with Don Maselli, and he's my new best friend," my husband's jaw hit the floor, and he said, "You're not allowed to be friends with him," which, of course, made me say, "Of course, he's going to be my new best friend."
Are you a rebel, Pamela?
Just a little bit.
Okay.
So then we really, truly became fast, hard.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, we had some of the most amazing experiences at Third Corner Bistro.
Oh.
And our circle of friends grew very quickly to the point where we would come in for brunch at about 11 o'clock.
Yeah, we all educated each other too.
Yeah, and then we would take
We would
copious
play
notes
games.
and play.
It was amazing. It was such a beautiful
But we always talked about...
budding friendship.
We always talked about the wine,
Yep.
the notes, the taste, the everything, the grapes. We talked about where it was grown. We talked about it was very fun. It was fun. Anyway, he closed down that shop, and we
still hate him to this day. Ed, I hope you're listening.
Ed, I still love you. You're an amazing individual that brought the 3 of us together, and I can
The
never
4 of
thank
us
you
together,
enough.
because you're in that group, and you will be a guest.
So let me ask the 2 of you a question now. With all this COVID-19 going on, and how do you think wine is going to unite people?
I think it always has. From
But
the times of Jesus.
I think if you soak your mask in wine and
it
wear
smells
it,
better.
you'll be safe. And
I don't think the cops
no.
are going to appreciate that.
No. But as far as it goes, well, I love here in America, and I hopefully in the UK and everyone's listening all around the world, because that's what's so brilliant about podcasts, is that I'm just, as far as the United States, and maybe you can email us or send us a message on...
Please comment.
On
Instagram, on
Facebook,
Twitter,
Twitter.
Facebook.
in the bunghole.
And our website is insidethebunghole.buzzsprout.com.
I like the spirit. I like the fact that there's some wine shops here in the desert that are doing it. They are doing Zoom wine tastings.
Yes, they're getting creative.
They are. They're thinking out of the bun. You know,
the bung.
The bunghole.
The bung.
Yes.
Okay, you know what? This is a zero pod. We should probably wrap it up.
So here are some really future podcasts that we're looking to introduce.
Yeah.
We want to hit different wineries and talk to sommeliers and talk to ownership.
Yes.
We want to
And
talk
people that
to
have wine, the people that have wine products, glasses and aerators, and we want to really learn. We want to learn.
So we in the future, our future podcasts will include, but not limited to, interviewing vintners, sommeliers, makers of wine products. Let's think about chips. Like, how do potato chips pair with wine, or even breads? There's
a wine.
There's a
place
winery up in Temecula that serves
yeah.
breads with their different wines, and it is absolutely fantastic.
And a chip company.
And the chip company.
And a chocolate company.
A chocolate, that's correct. I think we should really go outside because Coachella Valley is known for their dates, the medjool dates, and maybe do a date wine tasting. So when's your next date? We want to talk to glassware makers as well as aerators and the benefits of an aerator and when to decant and when not to decant. Let's talk about wine lovers of all kinds. Why don't we think wine festivals or wine distributors? When's the last time you were in a tasting room and really enjoyed the experience? Their associates. We want to talk to wine journalists. But besides the alcohol content, this beverage is so incredibly intoxicating.
Yes.
But in a delicious way, passion, emotion, bliss, etc.
Memories.
Memories.
And it makes friends.
Friends.
You do. Like us.
Bonds.
Wine brought us together, Mr. Maselli.
Yes, it did.
It did.
It was a wine tasting.
We would never have been friends without it.
Yes. Okay. Well, listen. Thank you all for tuning in.
For coming inside the bunghole.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
I like the name personally.
Yes. Toot toot. Love you all. See you in the future. Tune in.
A voce sante
A voce sante. We don't know what that means.
means to your health.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
If you want to know more about Inside the Bunghole, join us on all our social media platforms. You can get a revisit and view all the latest posts, giveaways, and information on this podcast. Simply search Inside the Bunghole on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment. We would love to hear from you. Or you can email us at insidethebunghole@gmail.com. Thanks for tuning in, and visit our website at insidethebunghole.buzzsprout.com, where you can always find our latest podcast and past episodes. Cheers!